this man would undoubtedly win the prize for being the worst $95 million signing ever made. There were high expectations for the trade when United agreed to pay Ajax $95 million for Antony in 2022. However, it's safe to assume that it hasn't been successful. What happened wrong with Antony, then, and how has he gotten so bad that even when he doesn't play, he gets memed? Given that he scored on his debut, the situation becomes even more perplexing. Antony was a highly promising addition to Manchester United. He played well for Ajax in the Champions League, contributing 2 goals and 4 assists in 7 games, despite the fact that they were eliminated in the round of 16. Even though he was only 22 at the time, he was already seen as a bright future star. A few teams were considering signing him during the next transfer window, but everything changed when Manchester's red half made this significant move. After being named the team's new head coach, Ten Hag was eager to put his theories and beliefs into practice at United. It seems as though Ten Hag was attempting to replicate Ajax in miniature at United. He had previously acquired Lisandro Martinez from his previous team, but Antony was his next aim, and he succeeded. Nothing could have been better. It seemed as though he had Old Trafford at his feet after he scored on his debut, as we saw in the previous footage. In the present, we are dealing with a player who only scored 1 goal in the Premier League the previous season. What, then, was wrong with Antony? We must start with that price tag first. The man isn't even worth half of $95 million, therefore there's no way he's worth that much. The funny part is that he and his former team, Ajax, were also aware of this. You see, at first, the Antony agreement between United and Ajax stagnated. The club performed some insane things because Ten Hag came and wanted them to get Antony by any means necessary. In order to create room for Antony's possible signing, they sold Anthony Ilona to Nottingham Forest. To put things in perspective, Ilona contributed 14 goals to Nottingham Forest's league total the previous season. Antony? 1 assist and 1 goal. United left the transaction after clearing the area, but they later returned. United reportedly wanted to pay $30 million, and Ajax wanted to double that. Seeing how desperate United was, they upped the figure to $95 million. And I don't know which is more surprising, the fact that they upped the figure and made it times 3 of what United valued the player on, or the fact that United actually paid. Yep, they did pay $95 million for him, and he became a United player. So, how has he done then after this? In his first season, we did see glimpses of why United paid that much to sign him. The goal against Barcelona, or scoring in his first 3 games of the season. After bagging against Liverpool, he scored against both Manchester City and Everton, and at that point, the move was promising signs of things to come, but then what followed can simply be best described as inconsistency. 3 goals in his first 3 games, and after this, it took him 15 league games to his next goal contribution in the league for United. He's a winger, this just sounds off. Now, at this point, there was the benefit of the doubt for Antony, that he was only just settling into the Premier League and still getting warmed up. Meaning his next season, which was the 2023-24 version, was supposed to be the one where he had really taken off and shown why United paid all that money for him, but it somehow got worse. He played 29 Premier League games last season, started 15, and came off the bench in 14. In total, this added up to 1,324 minutes of action in the league. His total? 1 goal and 1 assist. It feels so cringe reading this, knowing he cost that much. He was averaging a goal contribution every 662 minutes. Very, very unsatisfactory. The lack of end product was costing the team. United didn't exactly feel it in 2022-23, when Marcus Rashford was in the form of his career, scoring over 30 goals that season. But in the last campaign, when the output from the attacking department was low, a player with the amount paid on him would have been expected to deliver big, and he came up with 1 goal and 1 assist in the league. Now you would, to an extent, be able to excuse this if he was contributing in other areas of the pitch, like being creative or making key passes or anything within that category. Except he wasn't. In the 2 seasons he's been at United, the 2022-23 and the 2023-24 season, he's averaged 1.4 and 1.5 key passes per 90. This number is very, very low. Bruno Fernandes, a colleague, for instance, averaged 4.3 critical passes per 90. Antony's issue was that he was unable to contribute in other areas of the field now that he wasn't simply lacking the final product. Heck, it seemed like he was just performing cardio every time he performed. What was the purpose of that large build-up? At first, it seemed like all he needed to do was boost his confidence, but believe me, things only get worse. That notorious face guy? Yes, he pretended to be a major character from Marvel who was going to alter the rules. And he was getting memed to the end as soon as his face fell. It still doesn't end there. Perhaps the biggest cringe moment with this guy was at Wembley. United versus Coventry City in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. United went goals up, but somehow managed to blow the 3-goal lead and force the game into penalties. They did win it on the shootout, but the embarrassment of losing a lead like that to Coventry City? The players themselves knew there was nothing worth celebrating, except Antony. Cupping your ears after blowing a 3-goal lead to a championship team is just downright disgusting. This is particularly worrying, considering the highlight clips that came out him before the move to United. Skills, tricks, it felt like United was getting the complete package after signing Antony. And yet, that hasn't been the case at all. When it comes to dribbling, despite doing stuff like this on a match day, yeah, Antony doesn't even come close to the best dribblers in the Premier League or the top European leagues. At Ajax, he was averaging 2.2 dribbles per 90. At Manchester United, 1.5 in his first season, 1.8 in the second season, and currently in the Premier League this season. 1, that's the figure. He's completed just 1 dribble in the Premier League so far this season. Away from the field, he also did have a couple of negative news around him. So news broke out that he had reportedly attacked his partner and was even facing jail time if it was confirmed. He even attended an interview with the Greater Manchester Police just to clear this off. So now we know what he's been doing wrong. Can he change it then? Honestly, it doesn't quite feel like it. For someone who says he wants to win trophies, then he needs to understand a lot of work goes into that. Just watching Antony play, there's already a downside to his game that's easily noticeable. I mean, he's arguably the most one-dimensional player in the league. You're losing out if you watch this and haven't signed up for a jvsports subscription yet. To ensure you don't miss any of the action, click the button below.